Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is beat the like button like it owes you money before watching this, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number one rapper ASAP Rocky says he's never spent money to get women in his life. Of course not, because he's got looks and status. That's better than money. As a guy, if you have to spend money to get a girl, then she's not really attracted to you. So you're better off staying single. And if she only wants money, then just pay for a working girl. That way at least you're not going to have the problem with listening to her verbal diarrhea and sifting through dating apps to find someone. Up next is this an excuse for fat women's obesity with this article saying that people with thicker thighs live longer because their body controls blood sugar and inflammation better. Not to mention blood circulation too. But what about hip and knee replacements? But I'm also pretty sure this is misleading. It probably has to do with how much muscle you have in your legs and not fat. Then again, as the chubby chasers used to say, the thicker the thighs, the sweeter the surprise. Number 3, how stupid do you have to be? This guy won the $167 million Powerball jackpot and was then arrested for stealing 12 grand from somebody's house. Looks like he burned through the cash, or maybe this is one of his side quests that he was doing for the love of the game. To be fair though, this guy fits the description of someone who would actually win that Powerball jackpot. And for a second there I thought this was Jake Paul for some reason. Moving on, and speaking of hitting the jackpot, meet Marigona Gona. She went to a basketball game and it changed her life. She became so popular on social media that she gained 300,000 followers and ended up divorcing her husband. She looks like she could be an honorary Kardashian or something. She probably turned herself into a high-end escort. That's probably why she got divorced. Not to mention all the product placement I saw on her Instascam page. Moving on, Pete Hogsmeade's wife wore a Temu dress to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Looks good, Temu Nation, and it cost her less than 20 bucks. She's a keeper if she doesn't care about what people think about her. And look at the way they're both standing full up straight and neither of them leaning into each other. That's the way you're supposed to be in a relationship. Side by side instead of simp by side, and they also have 7 kids too. Up next, this proves that Chinese, Russian, and Indian programmers aren't as good as the American ones. College graduates in these 3 countries are ranked worse than US college seniors. Of course. And it makes sense because the microcomputer was invented in America and the United States has all the big tech firms. American companies just poach the best computer scientists from those countries and give them H-1B visas. The only reason more foreigners are hired is because they're cheap. Number 7, when will white folks go extinct? We made up 33% of the global population in 1950. But by 2050 we'll only make up 5%. The fewer and fewer there are of us, the more the world will blame us for their problems. A great example of this is South Africa and Zimbabwe. Also remember that once the white population drops below a certain point, there's going to be a mass extinction because blacks cannot survive without white populations farming for them, especially in colder countries. Moving on, remember guys that 80% of the time women escape poverty through marriage, and that 80% of men enter poverty through divorce. He makes more money than ever, but she makes 90% of the purchasing decisions. And if she divorces him, he's not only going to be living in poverty, but he could also be left destitute too, or living out of his car. This is why many women get excited about weddings. They know they finally have power over a man's life, and if things get tough, they can bail out with cash and prizes. Number 9 looks like it's back to Fatland for all the land whales out there as Ozempic faces lawsuits with regards to stomach paralysis and vision loss. If only people could practice self-control and portion control. Or if they could just burn more calories than they consume so they could lose some weight. But even with this lawsuit, the risks outweigh the benefits, no pun intended, for all the health-related issues regarding being fat. Stomach paralysis and vision loss are also effects of long-term diabetes. Up next, and speaking about being fat, this woman says that buying her food is the quickest way to her heart. Either that or the quickest way to a heart attack. And based on that earlier meme about big thighs being healthy, that means she's the healthiest of them all. I bet many of you guys would hit if you could fit. But it looks like even a bucket of flour wouldn't help you find the hole here. This guy will take the challenge and probably end up winning too. Number 11, nearly 40% of Americans are cutting ties with their family and friends, and 38% of them haven't spoken to a friend or family member in the past year. People are replacing social contact with the internet, and Gen Z is the worst for this with 60% cutting off someone in the last year or so. And how much you want to bet that the majority of Gen Z cutting people out of their life end up looking like this? I also wonder how much of this is divorced mothers cutting their kids off from their fathers. Moving on, which room would you choose? Is any of these rooms actually bad? I'm a boob man that likes a pretty fair-skinned face, so room 1, 3, and 6 for me. Number 6 is best. Haley Atwell. I hope you're sitting down and haven't had your lunch yet because you're going to love room number 7. And if you don't like her, you can throw her from the train. I can hear her in my head screaming right now, Owen, you don't have a cousin Patty. Number 13, do you agree you shouldn't be afraid to spend money on event tickets and travel because when you get older you'll realize the only place you went to is work? I agree. I travel for work, which is even better. If you can get paid to see the world and it forces you to get off the beaten track, then so be it. The only regret I have is I didn't travel more in my 20s and 30s before my health took a turn for the worse. And while I could still feel extreme joy from that travel. Up next, what's going on with the lamestream media? They now claim that we shouldn't worry about the manosphere, but instead angry lefty women because young women are rejecting marriage and capitalism en masse. Of course, they want to get smashed by Chad and not marry a beta bucks when they already make their own money. The state also provides them what they can't for themselves. I'm so tired of this. Robo-waifus and artificial wombs will put an end to this madness. Number 15, it's the end of an era in Canada. Rogers Communications is offering buyouts for half of its workforce. I guess that's what happens when you can't gouge people on $120 phone plans no more because there's finally competition. They're offering voluntary packages. I wouldn't be surprised if they hired Indians overseas. Now they're using voice-changing filters so you can't hear the Indian accents of customer service agents over the phone. Moving on, here's the state of the world these days with social media creating out-of-this-world expectations. This woman received this used Honda Civic from her boyfriend and people are shaming her for not getting a new car instead of a used one. That Civic is going to last 10 times longer than the new one. Plus, it won't have a sensor in it that's going to shut the car down if it thinks that you're too tired to drive. She should feel lucky because the first car I learned to drive on was a Hyundai Pony. Number 17, this looks like every black man's dream and every white father's nightmare. He looks so happy. But her mother in the background doesn't. Too bad we can't see the father's face that seems to be behind him. I have questions someone might be able to answer. Is she still alive or did he already end her? Are they still together or is she a single mom to a African? I do know one thing though. Their tailor needs to be arrested. Up next, how do Canadians feel paying for security for Trudeau as he lives his best life with Katy Perry on her yachts? Now that's a smile a man makes when his wife leaves him and he monkey branches to a wealthy pop star. And just remember everyone, whoever took that photo was in range. He's just so smug knowing that he can get away with everything, including not being arrested for having young Lincoln on his computer as Prime Minister. This picture now has a new meaning. Number 19, Nietzsche predicted communism in one quote when he said that nobody is more inferior than those who insist on being equal. That's why Marxists demand to redistribute the wealth from the winners to themselves. They can't win fair and square, are envious, and need to destroy the object of their envy. Realistically, the only thing we're truly equal in is death. We should all work in our lives to reduce our own suffering and the suffering of others. Moving on, here's the realization that kicks in when you realize that we wasn't kings. When you see Queen Hatshepsut's profile. If you ever get a chance to see her temple in Egypt, don't miss it. It looks like a modern building that's built thousands of years ago. And if you want to see real ancestors of kings, head to southern Egypt where you'll see these dark slaves on the temple of Abu Simbel. Those are the original tiny hats at the bottom there. Number 21, this is the way that women think fake-up works. And in many cases they're right. Especially when they put liquid foundation over their pimples, lashes to accentuate their eyes as well. For many women, you have fun with them out one night, and then you see them in the morning, they look unrecognizable. Women are allowed to look smacks, but when men work out and dress up, women lie to us saying that we shouldn't improve our appearance. Up next, a Canadian millionaire built 99 tiny homes to reduce homelessness in his community. It sounds like a great idea, but you just know that the government will send its inspectors in and arrest him. He did this for addicts. At least the ambulances know where to go when they get a call for an overdose. Plus, he's making the government look terrible because they aren't doing much to solve the homelessness problem, even though they're spending $500,000 per homeless person per year in Toronto. Number 23, I agree with this statement that humans are designed to create, but we get depressed when all most of us do is consume. I create beautiful things and surround myself with them. Your goal should be to spend more time creating content than consuming it. Also, if you're truly a creative person, then you're cursed. You have to create constantly or you get depressed. Most people are also discouraged to create because AI is going to create more and more for them. Moving on, this teacher raped a 13-year-old youngling and is led to court to learn her fate. We used to see stories like this monthly, then weekly, and now daily. And in this case, it really was great because she's fat and unattractive. To be honest, just looking at her, maybe the kid should also be thrown in jail for getting with that. Just kidding. She's the authority figure and she deserves to be locked up and have that key thrown away as deterrent for other whammons. Number 25 on the last one here is proof that AI is going to wreck the economy instead of growing it. It's called deflation. Chegg was the company charging students $20 a month for homework answers, and it's now going broke since ChatGPT and other chatbots showed up. Once again, this is called deflation. It's the same thing as when smartphones killed calculators, CD players, cameras, and other technology. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.